Tucker Carlson, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and a demonic conspiracy. What do these all have to do with each other? Is there an actual demonic plan or conspiracy concerning what's happening in America? What's happening to Tucker Carlson? What happened to Candace Owens? Behind what happened to Charlie Kirk? What took place among the left? What's now beginning among the conservatives? What's happening to America? What does it have to do with Hitler and Bonhoeffer? And what could it have to do with Tucker Carlson? Could it be connected to a night encounter with a demonic spirit? And could this all go back to ancient Rome, even ancient Babylon? What happens if we pull away the veil to reveal what's going on behind the news, where things are heading? What if we could expose the plan or the strategy? What would it tell us? Stay tuned, because I promise we're going to open up all that, and it's all going to come together, particularly as we get toward the end. This is Jonathan Cahn. Quick note before we get going. First, if you're not getting these messages, just hit subscribe now. And could there be a political figure on the American stage now who is operating as an avatar of an ancient entity? It's one of the mysteries, many mysteries revealed in the Avatar. You can get it on Amazon now, and also the Dragon's Prophecy. Lastly, to find out how you can go with me to the Holy Land, Israel, for a journey of a lifetime, just go to JonathanCahnSpecialTours.com. All right. The descent of Tucker Carlson, it continues unabated. If things weren't bad enough, Tucker is now attacking, of all people, Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Who is Dietrich Bonhoeffer? Bonhoeffer was a German pastor, a Christian pastor, who's famous for standing up for against Adolf Hitler and for the Jews. He resisted his denomination's attempt to take over, to take Jewishness out of Christianity, to take the Old Testament out of the faith of Christianity. He spoke out against the persecution of the Jewish people. He helped Jewish people to escape from Germany. He was associated with those who sought to remove Hitler from power by force. In 1943, he was arrested by the Nazis, and in April of 1945, just before the end of the war, he was executed by hanging. He is a Christian martyr of the 20th century. Why would Tucker Carlson come against him or speak out against him, denigrate him really? It's actually consistent, because recently Tucker Carlson has been promoting people who are pro-Hitler. So it only makes sense that someone like Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who was against Hitler, he would attack. It's totally consistent. Winston Churchill was also a hero of the Second World War who rallied his nation to withstand Hitler. So what did Tucker Carlson do? He had on his show a man who said America should have joined with Hitler, not Churchill, and that Churchill was really the villain of World War II, not Hitler. And Tucker claimed that this man was one of the most important historians of our time. You see, Tucker Carlson has been attacking Jews and Israel and been promoting those who are against the Jewish people, against Israel. He'll say, oh, I'm not, I'm just asking questions, I'm just wondering. He said Hamas is not a terrorist organization. He said that Hitler, or he had on his program, Hitler was really not so bad on his program. That he had the neo-Nazi or the anti-Semite Nick Fuentes as presenting him as a really, really good guy, decent guy. His guest, Nick Fuentes, said that he loves Adolf Hitler. He's on Team Hitler. And Tucker had a great time with him. Very, very nice interview, as opposed to the interview he had with the Christian Senator Ted Cruz, who he attacked. But Dietrich Bonhoeffer opposed Hitler, so he gets attacked by Tucker Carlson, or portrayed as an illustration of someone you don't want to be like. You see, Hitler started something called the German Christian movement. It was really a Nazi takeover of the church. And most pastors in Germany went along with it, but not Bonhoeffer. The quote, German Christian movement decided to separate Christianity from Jewishness, to take Jewishness out of Christianity. They even tried to take the Old Testament out of Christianity. Bonhoeffer opposed that. You see, if you try to take Jewishness out of Christianity, you got to take Christianity out of Christianity, because the Christ of Christianity happens to be the Messiah of the Hebrew Scriptures, of the Jewish people. If you want to take Jewishness out of Christianity, you got to take down the crucifixes in all those churches and all the stained glass windows, because they have a Jew on there, Jesus, and the Jewish Mary, and a Jew Paul, or anyone. It's totally Jewish, and for everybody, it's universal. And the thing is, that's exactly what Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes are apparently seeking to do. To say that Christianity is actually at enmity with Judaism or the Hebrew Scriptures and Israel. Fuentes just said, basically, if you lift up Christ, you have to not love or hate Israel. Amazing, because Jesus was for Israel. Jesus is actually the king of Israel. It's his nation. He loves Israel. He prayed for Israel. He wept for Israel. You can't love the king of the kingdom and hate the kingdom of the king. So to try to divide or take away Jewishness from Christianity is basically doing what the Nazis tried to do. Really, exactly what they tried to do. You see, the devil knows that if you can take what is Jewish out of Christianity, you will destroy Christianity, and he'll use any willing vessel who would do that. So, what did Tucker Carlson say about Dietrich Bonhoeffer? He said, it's dangerous to call people Nazis. Yeah, it's dangerous to call people Nazis who are not Nazis, but it is the truth to call people Nazis who happen to be Nazis. But the thing is, Tucker Carlson wasn't concerned with the danger of actually being a Nazi, but just calling somebody a Nazi, that's so bad. And to use an example of those who are off the wall in these things, he uses Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Because Bonhoeffer was against Hitler and even was part of, again, those who were trying to remove Hitler from power at the end of the Third Reich, and really to end the Third Reich. Well, Carlson is saying that that's dangerous to call Hitler a Nazi. Maybe it's news to Tucker that Hitler actually was a Nazi. It's not a bad or crazy thing to call a Nazi the one who's the head of the Nazi party. The Nazi incarnate, the number one big kahuna Nazi, Adolf Hitler. Maybe Carlson didn't realize that he actually was a Nazi. Carlson goes on to say that Bonhoeffer came to the end of reason. He was beyond reason, was irrational when he tried to stop Hitler. Really, I think that's exactly what America was trying to do, exactly what the Allies were trying to do, and it's considered the most just war. He came to the end of his reason. It's irrational to try to stop Hitler. This is something that Tucker seemed to be really concerned about, that these Germans would want to, quote, kill this guy. Well, Hitler is not this guy. He's not some guy who hangs out down the street corner. He was a monster. He was a satanic vessel of death and destruction. But Tucker seemed real concerned about this wrong being done to Adolf Hitler. Poor Hitler, poor Adolf. And Tucker says that Bonhoeffer departed from Christianity. So I guess to oppose Hitler in that way was not Christian. But to promote Hitler, as Tucker has done on his program by having these people on with his favorite historian, and Nick Fuentes, is apparently Christian to promote Hitler. Now, of course, an overall rule, we seek not to kill or cause any harm to someone, and not to kill in vengeance or fight in vengeance. But if you're defending life, well, that's another story. And so the question of Adolf Hitler is a little different, because if it were possible to end World War II and the Holocaust by taking out Hitler, would it be the wrong decision? If you could save millions and millions and millions and millions of lives of children, of women, of men, of innocent, of civilians, would it be wrong? Would it be wrong? This isn't a case of disagreeing with somebody or even seeing somebody as dangerous, but a man who's actually in the process of murdering 6 million people and over 60 million other people. We don't put our faith or trust in the sword. We put our faith in God. But it seems that Tucker was more upset with the idea of killing Hitler than Hitler killing millions of Jews and others. It would seem by what Tucker said that it's apparently a much bigger sin to call somebody a Nazi, who actually is a Nazi, than to kill millions of Jewish and non-Jewish people. According to Tucker Carlson, Bonhoeffer basically went off the wall. He went beyond reason, beyond Christianity. But Adolf Hitler, not a word about him, like killing all those millions of people. I guess Tucker Carlson doesn't want to be called a Nazi. That's understandable. Nobody wants to be called a Nazi, or most people don't. I wouldn't say nobody, but most people don't. Well, but here's the thing. Aside from the fact, Tucker, that you seem to be standing up for Hitler by your guests and against a Christian martyr who was against Hitler, beyond all that, the thing is, when you put people on your show, as you did with Nick Fuentes, giving them a platform and exposure and a microphone and generally agreeing with them, a person who says he loves Adolf Hitler, that Adolf Hitler is awesome and he's on Team Hitler, you're lifting up and you're empowering these people. Don't be surprised when you're called a Nazi. When you put somebody on your show and agree with them, a man who says that most American black people should be put in prison, and that if he comes to power, Jewish people will be executed, and who calls for the rape of women and murder, and you promote and legitimize him, it's not out of the realm of possibility that you may very well be called a Nazi. See, that's actually how Nazism began, not with weapons, but with words, with insinuations, with allegations, with accusations. Tucker, you said, don't judge people, you don't judge people by groups. And then you said, America should not be controlled by 3%. Well, what 3% are you talking about? What 3% are you accusing of unduly influencing American policy or controlling things? It's interesting because the percentage of Jewish people in America is just about 3%. Is that a coincidence? So are you accusing my grandmother of controlling American politics, or my mother or my cousin or my nieces controlling American politics? You know, you put on people who hate Israel, hate Jews, you continually play with anti-Semitism, you empower it, you tease and needle the Jews continuously, and you know, don't be shocked, and you spew hatred for Israel, and by implication, Jewish people in America. Don't be shocked when people call you a Nazi. And those who support Christians, or those Christians who support Israel and Jewish people, like Ted Cruz and others, and Mike Huckabee, you attack venomously. And you say that the people you hate the most, not Nazis, are Christians who support Israel. That's basically the position of Adolf Hitler. And you actually have somebody on your show who says if he comes to power, there will be execution of Jews. That's what Hitler would do. So if you promote the positions of Adolf Hitler, if you legitimize the views that are in aligned with Adolf Hitler, don't be surprised if you get called a Nazi. See, there's a moral question. If you could go back in time and kill Adolf Hitler as a baby to save millions of lives, would you do it? But I don't think the question applies to you, because it seems that it's more likely that you would go back in time to kill baby Winston Churchill than baby Hitler. Talk about woe to those who call evil good and good evil. And now you've actually divided the conservative movement, and you've given strength to a neo-Nazi. You've empowered a dark movement. And you may get attention for now, but the Lord who you claim to serve actually said, what profits a man if he gains the world or likes on the internet, I'm adding that, and loses his soul. You've had that attacks the people that Jesus said are his people. And you have on people like Candace Owens, a woman who virtually every day comes up with a new conspiracy, off-the-wall accusations, and calling Judaism evil, that there's a Jewish conspiracy in the world, reviving old anti-Semitic Nazi accusations, and it was actually named the Anti-Semite of the Year. How do you think the Christ, or who's the Jewish rabbi, Messiah of the Jewish people, Savior of the Jewish people and all people, but those are his first people that you speak, who's 100% Jewish. How do you think he's going to judge you on the day of judgment? But this all brings up the question, why would Tucker Carlson promote Hitler glorification and attack those who are against Hitler and who paid for their lives, like Bonhoeffer, and those who rallied his nation against Hitler, Winston Churchill, and Bible-believing Christians who love Israel just simply because the Bible says so? People are asking that. People who've known Tucker Carlson are asking that, why? And people are at a loss. Why? How did that happen? You're talking about conspiracy. Could there be actually a demonic conspiracy? What does the Bible say? The Bible reveals a vision in the book of Zechariah where you have Satan accusing the high priest of Israel, a man named Joshua or Yeshua, which is Jesus, that's the same name, representing Israel. The high priest represents his nation. So Satan is attacking Israel, accusing it. That's the Old Testament. Now you'd probably dismiss the Old Testament, but the New Testament, book of Revelation, has the vision in Revelation 12 of a dragon, red dragon, warring against a woman who's got 12 stars, like the 12 tribes, gives birth to the Messiah, that's Israel, is alive in the last days, so it's got to be Israel, the Jewish people. So the first thing it tells you is that there's something supernatural going on. There's the war against, the hatred against Jewish people in Israel, which defies rationality, has been from ages past to now. The reasons keep changing, is actually satanic. The Bible says it's actually supernatural. And so it's no accident that the most demonic people, satanic people in history just happen to be the ones who most hate the Jewish people. Not a coincidence. Or the children of Israel. So you never want to be on the wrong side of that equation because the devil is there. You're with the devil when you're doing that. And the demonic realm is there. Now let's say you were in a demonic strategy meeting. You wouldn't want to be there, but let's say you were there. This is like the screw tape letters from C.S. Lewis. What do you think the demonic military leaders would be planning to do? Well, they hate Israel. They hate the Jewish people. They hate Christians, true Christians. So they would seek to revive anti-Semitism throughout the world, and even in America. And as they hate Christians, they would war against them too. They hate the bond of Christians and Jewish people, Christians and Israel, because that bond is central in the Bible. And the two are God's people. They are joined together. So the demonic realm, the demons would seek to drive a wedge between Christians and Israel, Christians and Jewish people. They would seek to confuse Christians, to spread lies, to do it. What else would they do? They would seek to infiltrate the conservative movement with anti-Semitism. Why? Because it's the conservatives and Christians who are now the pillars behind America's support for Israel. The Democratic Party used to be, but recently it's turned to become, in effect, by the polls, an anti-Christian, that's another thing, anti-Jewish or anti-Israel party. So the only thing holding America is conservatives and Christians. And so, therefore, to seek to confuse Christians, to seek to infiltrate young Christians with anti-Semitism, they would do that. Because if you can do that, you can end America's support for Israel. If you do that, Israel's alone. But you know, the thing is that the concern is not just with Israel. The concern is America, because if the enemy seeks to divide and conquer. So you've got the two peoples of God, Christians and Jewish people, or Israel. If you divide and conquer, you can win. But God still promises to bless those who bless Israel. So how would you do it? How would you carry out this demonic strategy? Number one, you've got Charlie Kirk, who's probably the most prominent person in America, reaching young people in America for Jesus, for Christianity, and for Israel. I mean, the bond between them. So what would you do? You take your demonic legions, you would take them out, number one. So it's no accident that the question that Charlie Kirk was being asked just before he was shot was a question about a demonic act of violence, demonic shooting. the demonic shooting in Michigan, by a man who actually portrayed himself as listening to a demon before he went out and killed Christians praying in a church. So Charlie Kirk is asked about this demonic shooting, and then boom, a demonic shooting rings out and he's killed. And the question was about transgender shootings, demonic shootings. The shooting in Michigan that it was talking about involved a man as a woman killing children in the church. The bullet that killed Charlie Kirk, after Charlie Kirk was asked about transgender shootings, was fired by a man involved in a transgender relationship. And I had, just the day before the shooting, the assassination, I had posted a message on demonic shootings the day before it happened. It's no accident that Charlie Kirk's name, I've shared this before, means church. And the place where he was assassinated was called Orem, which means the dragon and the serpent, the titles of the enemy of Satan. It was a demonic attack with the fingerprints of the demonic right all over it to take him out. But that's the bigger picture, take him out. No accident that 2 days before the assassination, there's a post comes on the web that witches are being paid to cast curses against Charlie Kirk. One of them has a picture, a photograph of Charlie Kirk burning it. Curses are carried out by demonic spirits. Now, of course, it could only happen if God allowed it, but nevertheless, it's showing you what's involved. That same week was the week that the Avatar, that was led to release the Avatar, the last book I wrote, it led up to the witches coming out on the web and the assassination. To take Charlie Kirk out was a strategic strike in the demonic realm. To take out the most prominent advocate of Christianity for young people and for Israel, and the bond between Christians and Jewish people, Israel, because the enemy wants to end that. Now, it just came out that the shooter who tried to assassinate Donald Trump was also, there's a connection with gender ideology or the confusion of gender. And with Trump, there were also legions of witches casting curses and spells against him. But they said that it came out that our spells aren't working because Trump has some kind of shield around him, which they believed were the prayers of Christians. So they took out the demonic realm, the most prominent influencer for Christianity among young people and Israel. And then it didn't stop. What's the other strategy? Who was the most influential conservative commentator on television? It was Tucker Carlson. So what are they going to do? Well, Carlson was never known as a strong supporter of Israel as Charlie Kirk, but he was the number one influencer generally for conservatives. So with him, the strategy is take the number one conservative influencer and turn him. Use him as your vessel. And it all exploded when Tucker Carlson was fired from Fox. Once he was gone from Fox, that was the key event. It removed all restraint on what he would say. Nothing more to constrain him. And he would look for unique things to say for publicity. Well, he now could actually say things that are going to stir up hatred for Israel and Jewish people. Interesting, because at the time he was fired by Fox, he was talking more and more about spirits. He was talking more and more about demonic spirits. I even posted a message at that time of Tucker Carlson that he was being targeted by the spirits, by the demonic realm. But the most stunning testimony comes from Tucker Carlson himself. He said it happened while he was sleeping. And this is his own account. He says, I couldn't breathe. I thought I was going to suffocate. And then I had these terrible pains on my rib cage and then on my shoulder. And I was just in my boxer shorts, and I went out and I flipped on the light, went into the bathroom, and I had 4 claw marks on me. Four claw marks on either side underneath my arm and on my left shoulder, and they're bleeding. Now, he said it couldn't have been him. He doesn't have long nails, and there was no way, and the marks didn't fit his hands, and he said his wife saw the wounds as well. And he said they were serious enough that a year later he had scars. Now, there are people, of course, accused that he made it up or that it was some natural phenomenon, but the natural explanations don't really work. And I don't believe he would make up something like this. He really didn't need the views and it would not really go on this route, would not really gain him anything. It would subject him to mockery. And it happened at the same time that he started seriously talking about spiritual warfare and the activity of demonic spirits. He was very sincere about that. And Tucker was not very knowledgeable about such things, spiritual warfare or the Bible. And yet what he described is actually consistent with a phenomenon described by many other people. It actually goes back to ancient times. The oldest account of it goes back to ancient Mesopotamia around the year 2400 BC. They describe the feeling of people in their beds or at night sleeping being crushed or suffocated, just as he said, by demonic spirits. In the ancient accounts, it describes demonic spirits coming at night to take away their breath, and the belief was that they drain the essence from the person. In ancient Greece and Rome came reports of demonic spirits attacking sleepers at night, associated with a crushing weight and the feeling of suffocation. Exactly what Tucker Carlson said. He felt he couldn't breathe. In the Middle Ages came reports of people being physically oppressed at night by demonic spirits, and it would leave physical marks or physical harm. The phenomenon of unexplained scratches appears in historical accounts, in old accounts and folklore accounts, attacks by spirits, demons, or the jinn. That's the Arabic word for genie, which also means basically demon. With a victim waking up feeling pain first, and then seeing marks on the body, just like Tucker said. Now, I don't believe Tucker Carlson knew any of these things. In fact, at first he seems totally puzzled by it. And yet what he reported is totally consistent with a weight of accounts of ancient writings, of history, and folklore. Now, when was the key event that opened the door for what's happening right now? All these things that happened around began when Tucker Carlson was fired from Fox to start the show, and all the rest followed. He was fired when? On April 21st, 2023. And what about the demonic attack from what he said? It happened in the spring to summer of 2023. April 21st, 2023 fits exactly into that window. Now, when I posted at the time that Tucker Carlson was being targeted by demonic forces, I had no idea of the account of the demonic attack, that actual attack. He didn't say anything for a good while. So it all lines up with the demonic strategy. Tucker Carlson, the most influential conservative commentator in America, what would they do? Turn him, cause a change to begin. The most dramatic change was the change of his show to open the door. Off the air, do what he wants. All these things converge at the same time. And so what happened to Tucker, the most prominent conservative influencer, turning, he now became the most prominent instrument of anti-Semitism in America, the most prominent vessel of anti-Israel hatred, the most prominent purveyor of the legitimizing of Adolf Hitler. Now, I'm not saying what his motives are. It doesn't matter. It's being used. One who virtually single-handedly divided the conservative movement, who unleashed the doors to anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic hatred on top of anti-Israel hatred. What is that? The Bible reveals it. That all that is ultimately rooted in the realm of the satanic or the demonic. The rage of the dragon of Revelation 12. The vision of the enemy accusing Israel. And the rage I wrote about in the dragon's prophecy. It's all behind this. On top of that, the demonic realm takes out Charlie Kirk. It's not just a feeling that it was demonic. The fingerprints of the dragon in the place called the dragon, literally, were all over it. To break the bonds between Israel and Christians in America, Israel and America. To divide the conservative movement, cause a division between the two peoples of God, Christians and Jewish people, divide and conquer. And with Charlie Kirk out of the picture, the major voice holding the two together for the young was gone, eliminated, nullified. And now Tucker Carlson becomes an instrument in the rise of someone like Nick Fuentes, a Hitler-loving, Israel-hating anti-Semite who is now gaining the increasing following of among the young, the same ones that Charlie Kirk was influencing. See, when you remove the veil, it becomes absolutely clear. It all converges together. I don't believe it's an accident that the Avatar came out the same week leading up to the assassination of Charlie Kirk, because what I was led to write and reveal is that behind the realm of what we're watching, the news, the current events, the political realm, the cultural realm, every realm, is a whole other dimension of spiritual entities, all happening, even ancient mysteries linked to the Bible, that reveal what is going on. We are in a spiritual war, a battle for the future of America, nothing less. Because if America's out, it's a whole new ball game. What do the scriptures say? We war not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual evil in high places. Now I'm going to seal this word with a word for you in a moment. So let me just say last notes before I give you that word and a charge right now, which is real important. One, first of all, if you're not getting these messages, just hit subscribe now. And to see the mystery behind everything that's happening now, actually, even the Avatar on the national stage linked to an ancient entity, just go to Amazon or go online and they'll have the Avatar. It's the Avatar, and they'll also have the Dragon's Prophecy. And lastly, to find out how you can come with me on a journey of a lifetime to the Holy Land, the Promised Land, just go to JonathanCahnSpecialTours.com. It's JonathanCahnSpecialTours.com. All right. Listen, we have to pray for America as never before. We've got a window. I've shared that. We have a window of time right now. We have to pray for revival because it's the only thing that's going to do. We don't get involved with hatred of people. We don't get involved with putting our trust in man. We have to pray for revival. That's the only thing that can save America. Only thing. I implore you as never before, pray for revival for America. It'll touch the world. And choose to live in revival, and revival begins. And here's a word for you. And Jesus, Yeshua, came up and spoke to them saying, all authority, not some, not part, all authority has been given to me. All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, in view of that, therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, of all peoples, meaning spread the gospel, spread the word. Go, compel them, be bold, be strong. Baptize them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Teach them everything I have commanded you. And behold, I am with you always, in every moment, always, even to the end of the age. Until next time, this is Jonathan Cahn saying, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Shalom. Hey everybody, this is Jonathan Cahn, and thanks for watching the video. And listen, the new book, The Avatar, is out. It's the most explosive book I've written. It's The Avatar, The Return of the Ancients and the Future of America. It's everywhere. If you go online, you'll see it everywhere to get it for yourself and people in your life who need to see it.